There's another tag called the list tag. The list tag is used to list items in HTML. It's used to define items in a list in HTML. The list tag is classified into two. We have the UL tag and the OL tag. The UL tag, the full meaning is unordered list, while the OL tag is ordered list. Let's take a look at the syntax of the UL tag. Inside the UL tag and the OL tag, we also have a tag which we are going to nest inside the UL and OL tag, the LI tag. So I'll next the LI tag inside the UL tag. I want to make a list of countries in Africa. So starting from Nigeria, that was my first list, followed by Ghana, Egypt. Let me use Cameroon, Tanzania. I think there are 5 like that. So Nigeria, Ghana, Egypt, Cameroon, Tanzania. So I want to make a list of those 5 countries. Let's see the outcome. Once again, make sure you don't forget to close your tag. After you opened your tag, you have to close it. Although there are some tags in HTML that you don't have to close, but this list tag, you have to close them. We're going to still look at some tags which you are not going to close. Okay, Tanzania. Let's look at the outcome now. Can you see? It's defined a list of items. So we have a list of items with bullets at the front. Those black things, they are called bullets. So CSS can style it, in which we can use other style apart from the bullets. After the UL tag, we also have a tag that is OL, the opposite of the UL tag. The OL tag is the opposite of the UL tag, in which it defines list of items. The difference between those UL and the OL tag is that the OL tag is going to be numbered, while the LI tag or the UL tag is not going to be numbered. Let's look at an example. I'm going to make a list of food items. So my first item is going to be bread. So after bread, I think we can use, okay, let's make a list of cars instead. You can use Toyota. So there are also Benz and the likes. Yeah, I'll just make a list of cars and we should look at the outcome. Benz. We also have Honda, and we have Lexus. We have Kia also. I think let me use Kia as number 5. So this is a list of cars. Can you see I didn't put slash? I didn't close my tag then. That's why I went to close it. So after then we use Kia. So open tag Kia, then close our tag. So after then we are going to look at the outcome. Can you see? We've created an OL tag. Inside the OL tag, we annexed what? We annexed LI tag inside with a list of others. Can you see this list is numbered? So the difference between this one and the first one is that this one forms a list of numbered items, while the first one forms just a list without numbering it. So we can use CSS to style it later on. So that's the difference between OL and UL tag. So I also included an HR tag beneath it, a HR tag beneath each other. So after then, you also have some other tags. We have the input tag. So the input tag is used in typing text inside. It's going to create a space where we can type a text inside. So that's the use of the input tag. Can you see? Input tag doesn't have a closing tag. It doesn't have a slash. It only has opening tag. We don't have closing tag for input tag. So as I just put input here, it's going to define a space where I can write text inside. To create some text, you have view, info, text. So you can see these input tags in places like forms, where you are asked to fill forms online. So Let's try another thing. Backspace the greater than sign and put type. Inside the type, I'm going to put text inside a quote symbol. Let's try it out. Type text, input type text. Take note that the type doesn't have a quote. You write the type, it doesn't have a quote. So this is the result. We can enter any text inside. So anything, input the type of text we want to enter, the type of item we want to write inside is text. So that's that. We can change it to another one. Let's use password. So I'm going to backspace the text and put password inside. Input type password. The password is going to create an item which is going to look in form of a password. You know password. That is, the text is not going to display something like this. If I type my password, can you see? This is how the input type password is going to display. So this is the outcome. After then, we have another input type. We have the input type email. So the email is going to allow us to input email into our input, into our space. So the email tag, the outcome, you're going to realize that when I type something, my keyboard is going to show an email sign beneath, that is close to the backspace. It's going to show an @ sign, an @ symbol. Can you see that? So that's input type email. So after then, we also have input type, or we have URL. So the URL input type is just like the email input type. So that one is going to show a slash. Anything slash is telling us that this thing is a URL. So you see something like HTTPS : / and stuff like that. It's showing that it is a URL. So that's the work of input type URL. After then, we also have another input type, is checkbox. So the checkbox is just like when you choose something online in a list of items. So you can choose, if they ask you which school are you from, and they make a list of various schools. So the checkbox is going to make you tick the school you are from. So can you see? You can also choose multiple options. That's if they make a list of different items. So that's what the checkbox is used for. So we also have a radio checkbox, which is similar to the checkbox, rather a radio input type, which is similar to the checkbox. How it is going to be styled is his own is not a tick like the checkbox. Multiple radio tags, type radio again. So I can make multiple radio input type. So and it's still going to be the same outcome. Can you see that? I can choose the two. Yeah, that's just the outcome. So we also have another input type. After I backspace this one, so let's go to the radio and backspace it. So I'll put file. So the file input type was to pick some file in our system. If we're using a system, it's going to go to the file of our system, the file manager of our system. If we're using a phone also, it's going to go to the file manager. We can pick photos, we can pick any other things. Can you see how it displayed? So it's taking me to my system. Let me pick a photo. So let me pick this email photo. So after I pick the email photo, can you see how we displayed it beneath the beside the choose file there? Can you see that? So that's the function of the input type file. So after then, we have another input type which is called date, the date input type. Don't forget, all these input type, we're going to annex them into a quote symbol. So the date input type is going to, when we click on that box like button, it's going to bring a pop-up menu of dates and stuff such that we can choose the dates we are looking for. So we can see something like that in form and so on. If it asks us date of birth and stuff like that, can you see? I want to pick January 2000 and 25. So any date I want to pick, so I can change it to I can change the month, I can change the year. So that's the work of the date input type. So after then, we also have another input type. We have the time input type. So the time input type, just similar to the date input type. So it allows us to check the time it allows us to choose the time. So it brings a pop-up menu of time we're going to choose. When I click on that checkbox like button there, so it brings what time are we. So I can put it in 10:30. So or anytime we are, can you see it's already inside that checkbox like structure. I can put it in 10:30. So anytime you like, we can choose. So it might not be like this syntax on your own phone. I'm using an iPhone, so the syntax might change on an Android. I've not tested though. But let's choose another input type. We have another input type. We have a date time input type. And let's go for color input type. So the color input type is going to display varieties of colors in which you can choose from. It's going to display a palette in which you can choose any color you like. So stuff like that. We can change it. The spectrum. Can you see how the spectrum is like? Can you see how the slides also look like? So that's the work of the input type, the color input type rather. Yeah. You can choose any color you like. Look at the colors here. So we have different colors here. Can you see that? You can increase the sliders, but this syntax, like I said before, I don't know if it's going to be like that on Android because I'm using iOS. So you can give me feedback on your syntax, the way yours look like. Leave the input type to file like this. So after the input type for file, we also have some other input type, or rather input placeholder. We have input type, we also have input placeholder. So the input placeholder, you can look at the syntax, look how it is going to come out in the browser. If you look at it very well, you're going to find out that the name is just like a watermark. It's not that clear. It's not coming out clear. So that's what they call placeholder. It's going to tell you that this is what you have to input there. So let's input some other placeholders. Placeholder class. So let's look at the outcome. Yeah, so I'll close my tag. Can you see? If you can see it clearly, you're going to see that it has already gave us something like a watermark notifying us that it is class we are to input in that space. So you can do that for other placeholders. You can say input class. After class, we can use states. So it's going to let us know that we are to input our states. You are going to see some things like that in forms when you are filling form. So you see things like that. So you can choose another one. You can use address also. Let me input placeholder and address. So something like that. So if you play it, it's going to come out like this. So this is the outcome. So that's the work of the input tag. The input tag, it allows us to type something inside a box space, although we can use CSS to change it so that it may not be inside the box again. But for now, it's inside the box. So a recap of what we've done so far: we made h1 and p tag inside our body section. Also, we made an h1 of our mission and so on, and h2 of vision. Then we listed ul tag. After we listed input tag. So that's a recap of what we did for yesterday and today. Thank you.